Welcome back to Three Swords Productions. If you're new to the channel, I'm Steven and this is Nathan, and tonight we're going to be doing some commentary over some games we recorded the other day. This is going to be Ace versus Zoro. So Ace, if you're going to be a strong deck after these Newgate restrictions, this is the matchup to prove it in. Are you ready?
Let's go.
All right, let's go ahead and switch over. All right, and I believe that's you on the Ace side there.
Yeah,
so.
I'm not. You're usually the Ace pilot for us, but I decided to give it a twirl here. And this Ace list does feature, what, 4 strikers, I think, is the number?
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of the striker package in this over the buggy. Now, in this matchup, arguably buggy might be better because you would have characters to pressure theirs. Of course, buggy does not pressure buggy, but, you know, there are other characters Zoro's putting onto the table. And while also being a character that Zoro himself cannot pressure back.
True. Slash on the Zoro there.
While we are playing striker in this matchup, I do believe this one, you know, if we had a sideboard in this game,
True.
buggy would definitely bring in, right? Okay, so it looks like Zoro went first here and just played one down and passed. Now we are seeing a grip full of counter power. We've got the Otama and the guard point on deck, as well as it looks like 5-drop Luffy. So, you know, he's coming well equipped. Oh, Curly Dan, 2 Curly Dans, even better. And it looks like Ace is just going to play 2 Dawn out and pass the turn back. We should see Curly Dan come down.
Yeah, I believe this is Alex's hyper aggro Zoro list, which is kind of what came out. He had made it before the restriction, but it's kind of what Zoro's kind of come out to be after the restriction anyways, so.
Yeah, and then swing 5 on leader Ace. Now, curious that he swung 5 before he played Curly Dan without another 1-drop in his hand. That was interesting. Of course, he does have Otama, but I don't think he would play that onto the battlefield. No. So, I mean, assuming this Curly Dan actually whiffed, he would just be left with 1 Dawn open, I guess, for the guard point.
Yep.
Interesting line there. Now, Ace is going to untap, go to 4.
Yeah, I also kind of established that I'm going to have to protect my life in this match. And because he hadn't played anything before the attack, it's possible he could play Zoro there and attack for another attack on it. Don't know that I think it's a great attack, but I want to be able to not lose a bunch of life, and I don't think Flame Emperor is going to be very important in this matchup. Feels quite expensive to not be able to deal with what's going on the board. But Double Seaquake feels like the right type of speed to be playing against.
Yeah, so, I mean, unfortunately, all those cards were free, you know, courtesy of Zoro's just weenie package, but Double Seaquake there are going to feel nice going into the next turn with a clear board. Now, you do have 1 Dawn open, so, you know, that's a guard point of your own, and you're still at 5 life, so you're well insulated at this point in the game. Zoro going to figure out how they want to reestablish. Unfortunately for Ace, it's going to be with another Curly Dan into Nami, which is a very strong follow-up to having their board wiped.
Absolutely. So. Plus, the kind of the way the matchup goes here, right? Ace is going to try and answer everything that comes out of the Zoro player. Mm-hmm. So if the Zoro player can start getting value by attacking with things as soon as they come in with Rush, things like the Luffy or the Zoro that we've already seen out of the hand here, then it's kind of like the value is being gotten already, and then when I go to remove it, you don't care as much. So I do think it's a bit heads up here to go for a Zoro line and use the nice ability on it to be able to fill in the rest of what's going on.
Yeah, a lot of inefficiency on the Zoro side this turn. Now, I would have liked to see another attack for 5 there and swing, or then play the Uda and grab back Nami and replay the Nami there. Just give us, you know, something to do with all of our Dawn. I'm not sure what we're doing with this 1 Dawn open right now. And playing the Zoro out just feels like, hey, we want to use the Uda to grab Zoro. That's like kind of forcing a square into a circle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It does feel a little bit like there was some efficiency loss there. He could have put another 5k under the table while also grabbing a Nami back, but that's okay. We're going to see Ace swing across for 8. Now, that is going to contest the guard point there.
Yeah, I assume he's leaving 1 Dawn up. I have to imagine he's got some type of play, and if he didn't...
yeah, see, Radical Beam is 2k, guard point is 3, yep. So that was a heads-up move from you to swing for 8. Now we do see the buggy come down. Uh-oh, is this build's actually playing buggy and striker? I was incorrect.
Oh, no.
Okay, well, that's good. I mean, this is going to be exactly what you want in this matchup. So Buggy does come down. We're going to add a red event to our hand. It's going to be Fire Fist. Now, that's going to contest the Uda in our opponent's hand very well. So now we're going to have to lean on, you know, cards like that Monkey D. Luffy to become a 6K to get outside of Fire Fist range. Let's see if Alex is thinking about that when he starts his turn here. We do see Striker come down. The buggy
Ooh, a
pickup.
buggy ad's pretty good too.
The buggy pickup. Ooh, that's kind of an evil draw there.
It's
Contesting buggy with buggy. I like it. But, a bit of luck to see in that right off the top at that exact moment. We'll see if he considers that to be worthwhile to come to the board. We do have quite a bit of options on the Zoro side here. And still 0 characters on the table, so we're going to need to reestablish.
Yeah, I think this should be a turn where you're flooding out the board, playing the Nami, playing the Dodon, playing the Buggy, playing out things to fill to your board here. And that's a guard point out.
Yes. Another attack for 6.
But just add to the board.
Pressuring any 2Ks that you might be playing. Now, I think Alex might be realizing, hey, my opponent might not be playing any 2Ks. So these attacks for 6 is basically, the same as an attack for 7. Almost, it's going to basically just net a life every time. So he is playing around the Fire Fist by playing the Luffy on the table.
Okay. I think that's reasonable, but again, this can be attacked back on, so a little bit of a worry there.
Can be. And again, with the 1 Don open, we've left guard point open every turn of the game. Just feels like a lot of efficiency lost from Zoro's side, as they don't really need to be playing that defensively, I think. And we see Flame Emperor there to kind of punish the guard point left open. Ace is now an 8K double attacker, and that's going to take Zoro down to 1 if it does connect. 2, sorry about that.
Yeah, it'll be down to 2 there.
Still at 4 life. And we probably will see the guard point plus.
Guard point plus something, and I think that's
out.
also just fine from the Ace side. I'm okay with 2 cards here as well.
Yeah, I mean, you make this attack right, but you don't really want him to take it.
Yeah.
Because it feels like he's so far ahead of you if he does go down to 2. So it's a little bit worrying either way, right?
Yeah.
The best.
And look, it's even an over counter, so I'm even happier.
Right. So that actually feels like a successful attack that you've made now. You also have 1 Don open here for your Radical Beam. You're at 2 life. Radical Beam is actually... Oh, sorry, I thought you passed the turn. I believe Alex probably also thought that.
Yeah, he probably did, but just Buggy, add another guard point. It feels like I wouldn't have to protect my life too much this turn. I know he has Zoro in hand, and he's got the Zoro on the board. I should be able to counter out of most things, so long as they're not 2 giant attacks, I would imagine. But
yeah.
It would feel kind of like he's going all in on that.
And you grabbed a guard point off of that Buggy, correct?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so we've got Radical Beam and guard point now. Well defended here on the Ace side. We're going to need to pressure back, though. These Buggies might be instrumental for that. Let's see. Zoro's going to restock their board, make another attack for 6. Those slinging 6s at you.
They're adding up.
They are adding up. It does feel like Zoro could easily have like a massive board right now, given all the Dawn that feels like it's been wasted this game. Interesting though. I mean, the attack for 6, it just goes to show like how punishing attacks for 6 are against decks that have 0 2Ks. Because these attack 6s have basically dealt all of the damage to you, without much pressure on the board.
That's 2 whiffs out of Buggy there.
No events in 10 cards.
10 cards down, yeah.
All right, now there's a very real chance that Curly misses as well, since there were no events in those 10 cards. We have to imagine there's a bunch of 1-drops in the 10 cards, though.
I would hope so.
So there was a very real chance there that Curly Dedan just missed and saw a bunch of the events.
That's fair. It looks like, actually optioning for the Zoro attack is interesting, I think.
Yeah, swing 6 with Zoro.
I guess if the first one got through and was difficult for me, the second one was probably also difficult, so that's fair.
Yeah, might be heads up play there. We're still holding the Uda. I do wish we had seen the Uda come down much earlier in the game. It just seems like a throwaway 5K, but that's all right. Let's see. We're going to be able to play that next turn to pick the Zoro back up and have an additional hasty swing. Got a rusher. Oh, that will feel nice.
I don't think I can take this one. I think I have to counter out here, and I sure hope I do, because it would be embarrassing if I didn't.
I think that it's going to put you in an awkward situation on the following turn, where you're going to have to contend with a bunch of attacks if you're not able to counter out of this one. And unfortunately, these are the turns where you need to play your Ace as well. So you need to play the 7-drop, but also have enough Dawn open to defend yourself.
Right.
And that can be, discarding all of these events here is kind of that, that nod to, hey, I'm about to go into a turn where I need to play bigger characters. I'm not going to have the space necessary to be able to hold up in all this Dawn for all these events. So now another thing to consider here on the ace side is, yeah, even if you can get out of the next turn, you're going to have to get out of the following too, because you're not going to have enough pressure to be able to take out 4 life from your opponent. So you're looking at, quite a threatening set of the next 3 turns.
Yeah. I'd like to make one comment from the ace side here, in that we called out at the beginning of the match that Striker was going to be a little difficult in this match, and it's felt pretty awkward so far, it seems like. I don't know that I've had too many times where I'm able to really pay that off in some way.
Yeah, a lot of the turns spent, tapping all but one of your Dawn to play removal has, been a bit awkward for mana usage, as well as, the Striker kind of touchdown. Now, it doesn't feel like a colossal loss for the Striker. It just feels like, it kind of was played to the board for 1, and it was not, was never able to be tapped. So, maybe that card in this matchup just sits in your hand as another 1K.
It's possible.
Your leader, your leader can discard it.
That's very possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're not activating at least once, it's probably much better as a 1K, right? So,
now, it's hard to say on turn 2 that you will never activate the Striker.
No, I know, yeah. And that's kind of what I was just like, play it, right?
Yeah, because if you have the extra Dawn, put it on the table, that seems like the smartest. But, with a good repetition in this matchup, maybe you finally realize, well,
possible.
Maybe this isn't the card for this, for this particular matchup. Now, that's super important to note, and the way you play these games, especially in the ace deck, because I feel like what tends to happen when you're playing ace is you'll play a matchup and you'll go, well, this card didn't feel the greatest. I'd like to swap it out for something else and try the matchup again. And you can keep doing that, and I really think that's one of the fun things about ace is that you get to style ace the way that you play the deck.
Mm-hmm.
So that's certainly fun. But another element to that too is realizing, hey, it's now time for me to figure out how I'm going to play each matchup rather than just card selection. And we're going to see Marco come down, take out, what was that?
A buggy. We took out a buggy with that one.
Took out a buggy there. So, that's one way to deal with that card.
It is. This is still a scary board here. I have three Dawn up, so it is. We'll be able to counter off some things, but this is a lot of attacks coming through this turn.
Yes. Now, did we see you lose the Red Hawk already? Because that could actually pop the Nami here.
It could. Looks like my opponent is currently playing around it by equipping their Dawn right now.
True. He is playing around that, but again, the Nami is still open for.
Yeah, I don't know what his consideration is right here.
No,
looks like he's got a Makino in hand there.
Yeah, he could be considering playing the Makino on the Nami. Yes, in order to play around Red Hawk, so he's a little bit scared there.
And that's fair. That's probably a good play.
Yeah,
it is a good play. I have Red Hawk, so yeah,
right. at this point, it is a heads up play. Now I think you pitched Fire Fist last turn.
Yeah,
to counter out. So yeah, if we are Fire Fist down and we are Red Hawk up, so we got the Red Hawk here. Got actually 2 Red Hawks in hand. Looks like from this angle.
One of them's going to be a 1K at this point. I don't have enough Dawn to be doing everything there.
Correct. Yeah. Good world where both of them are 1Ks. Okay, so we are going to see Buggy swing for 6 here.
Yep.
Alex keeping up the 6K pressure on the Zoro. Sorry, on the ace. And we're going to try and figure out how to weave all of this because it is a lot of attacks here, and not a lot of counter power.
Yeah.
Well, we actually have a considerable amount of counter power, but unfortunately, it doesn't.
It's not spread across cards. It's all concentrated,
right?
Which makes it difficult to establish what I'm supposed to counter out of.
If he swung medium a handful of times, we would get out of that. Yep. If he swings low a lot of times, woof.
Yeah, that's pretty much where we're at right now.
Yeah,
hoping this last card off life is going to be important.
Yeah, to counter out with a beautiful Fire Fist there. I do like the alt art in the ace deck there, looking nice, but unfortunately it is only a 1K counter, so we are going to have to discard Red Hawk as well. Red Hawk never having an alt art, so that's probably one reason we lose. Yeah,
so he didn't equip more Dawn. I was kind of hoping he was going to go some bigger attacks here, but he read that 5Ks are just the way to go.
Yeah, we're going to Radical Beam out of 1, take this last attack here, and we're going to hope to not see any Zoros, as this might get us. And he's going to Nami look for Zoro. Let's see if he finds it. It is only Zoro now because he has 4 Dawn remaining.
Yeah.
Luffy does not.
It looks like he does have Luffy, but that doesn't help.
He tried to stretch for it, but not going to happen today.
It is going to be difficult to survive another turn here is the problem.
And that's the big thing here is that we were never able to pressure life back. And that's something that Ace is going to have to overcome through probably deck construction. We're probably going to have to reconsider how many characters we're playing on curve and that kind of thing in order to actually pressure up our opponents, because when they're able to get out of Flame Emperor easily, it can be quite difficult to actually put their life total low enough to have these final swings.
Okay, and we're going digging with the Striker.
Okay, so Striker does turn sideways once, here on a pivotal turn. Kind of nice.
Looks like nothing.
Ooh,
nothing.
Now that's so brutal. All right, and that's gonna be
that's
game.
The concession.
Okay, so yeah, we did see a quick concede after the Striker finally did turn sideways.
Yeah,
but yeah, that was a tough matchup to watch. That was hard.
Yeah, I think one part is that Zoro just kind of, all their cards cantrip. They all find themselves another card to fill back the hand.
Mm-hmm.
So that part is difficult when you're trying to go 1-for-1 on answering everything. And then Alex was also good to identify that A, attacking for 6k was actually pretty strong because my hand didn't have the 2ks necessary to get out of things.
Yes.
And B, the rush was able to get immediate value when I'm trying to go 1-for-1 on removing things, I think.
Now, I think there was a world where if he doesn't see second Curly in there, he actually does exhaust pretty hard on characters.
Sure.
Maybe would have had to rely on the Uda, which never actually came down throughout the game. Now, that being said, he did lose a lot of character efficiency by just, I think there was like 3 Dawn kind of not spent in the early portion of the game that was being held open for guard point, but he was at 5 life, so I don't really think you need to hold open guard point at that point.
Yeah.
So, it's tough to say how the matchup really should have gone, because, that second Curly to Dan was, that was the resources necessary to contend with all of your removal, because you did play a lot.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think it would have been a much more of a steamroll if he had used that Dawn more efficiently as well. So tough. Yeah, very tough. And
yep, for sure.
I think watching that matchup, I'm going to go into deck construction with Ace a little bit differently. I want more characters in order to pressure the Zoro deck back, because you generate a lot of space for yourself with cards like Fire Fist, Double Seaquake. All the little things that you're doing is generate room around Ace to get it in with the characters.
Yeah.
But we didn't have any characters, so we need to we'll have to go back to the drawing board on deck construction there.
Yeah, that's very possible. But it was a good match regardless.
It was a fun one to watch, to be honest.
It
It's just, kind of tough to just see Zoro doing its thing. It's a little bit oppressive. But all right, guys, thanks so much for watching this video with us. And if you like the content, consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel. If you're a fan of live stream and watching us play card games for 4 or 5 hours at a time, definitely consider subscribing to the channel, because we do that multiple times per week. It's a good time.
It is. I like live streaming. It's good.
It's a lot of fun. Yep. All right, Nathan with the playlist.
True. Yeah.
Another thing I want to remind you guys about is that we do have a Discord with an ever-growing community, and it's been a lot of fun recently with kind of the live stream basically exploding the community for us, and we're pretty excited for that. So if that's something that you're interested, the Discord link is in the description, and we also give it out freely during the live streams. We'll catch you in the next one. Good night, guys.
See ya.